What's up, guys? Smack the Flame here. I'm going to tell you today all about Anti-Venom. He is my absolute favorite champion right now, and I hope that after this he'll be one of yours too, or at the very least you'll be thinking about a rank up for him. We're going to go through his abilities and some of his rotations and gameplay. We're going to start with his Awakened ability. It is very useful. The regen is really nice, and it ties well with another part of his kit that we'll get to in just a minute or two. And the only thing that actually scales with the SIG level is his regen. The Exacerbate debuff, even though that number is green, that 2.5, it's always 2.5, whether it's SIG level 1 or SIG level 200. Might be a bug or a feature, who knows, right? Either way, every single time you inflict a debuff, it will practically just have a 5% increased potency. This is very similar to how Intensify works for Cosmic Champions or for buff champions in general. So going forward, debuffs that get placed have a 50% increased potency if you're at 10 stacks of Exacerbate. One really easy way to stack this up is with your heavies. Next up, we have his immunities. Incinerate and Poison immunity, super useful, right? This is really helpful for Path 9 for Alliance War, which is what I take every war. The current war that I'm in right now is, or I'm using Anti-Venom in there, and he's just great. He's so tanky, and having the immunities is huge for that, for Hazard Shift. And it's also making him a great option right now for me personally for Nico. She gets absolutely destroyed by him. The next line of utility here is so important. 40% defensive combat power rate per debuff on the opponent during their special attacks. This is so underrated. If you are able to block your opponent's special attacks instead of dexing them or avoiding them, this way you will gain significantly more power than normal if you have, let's say, 3 to 4 debuffs on them, which I guarantee you will have almost for the whole fight, at least that many. The additional power makes it so that you can loop your special attacks and loop your whole rotation really easily. You can get more SP1s in for the damage if you want it. You can get, if you're doing the SP3 rotation, you can get SP2s off. I think in the video that I have coming up, I got to 22 Furies, and it's because I'm blocking special attacks to get more power. And that also, this is part of the signature ability that is really helpful, where the regen really helps you to get your health back up from eating some SP2s to the block. So this is huge. This, I think, separates a good Anti-Venom player from a great one. This is really important for just maximizing Anti-Venom. Next up, personal passives are pause during special attacks, really just, and for 5 seconds after Striker. That's important. This just means whenever you launch a SP2 for the Furies, SP3 for the Evolved Mutation passive, just throw your Striker after so you can pause those things. Small detail, but also pretty important. Next up, we have Anti-Venom's debuffs, his genetic memory debuffs. This is his bread and butter. Everyone kind of knows this part of his kit, but I'll just go through it really quick. The Spectre is really good for reversing healing. The Disorient is kind of a general use, defensive ability, accuracy reduction. And then the Decelerate is great for lowering evade and unstoppable ability accuracy. This is probably the one I use the most if I'm specifically targeting a matchup. The way that you can choose these is by doing a second medium attack, whether that's a medium, 5-hit combo ending with a medium attack, or somewhere in between there. You can switch it with that. Next up, we have his Clintar debuff, which is always on the opponent. This just reduces physical resistance. Nice. The Spider-Verse heroes get reduced ability accuracy of evade effects. Unless nodes are making this funky, this is honestly really helpful for POV. Super helpful for POV. Good for any of the other Spider-Men, Spider-Women, Spider-Women, because Gwen is also in there too, and she can be annoying. Really nice at shutting that down. Mystic Champions here reduce the ability accuracy of unblockable effects by 65%, and then it's 100% if it's 4 debuffs. This is also, you're going to be at 4 debuffs a lot of the fight, so this is pretty much 100% for most of the fight. This is really nice for some more niche matchups. This was actually really clutch for the Mojo Coliseum boss, like 4 weeks ago. Well, my first video actually on the channel is me getting a pretty solid run on that Mojo boss with Anti-Venom. So this is really nice for him, and it's also really nice for something like Destroyer SP2. You're able to block that and get the additional power from blocking special attack. Next up we have the Heavy. This is nice. This is honestly kind of a underrated piece of utility. This is good for one, stacking the exacerbate debuffs, right? So you get the increased potency, but also really good for a champ like Heimdall. I actually really like fighting Heimdall with Anti-Venom. He's pretty commonly on my war path for like the path mini boss before you hit boss island, because he's really good for that rich get richer node, and you are able to get some really nice heavy counters with Anti-Venom and stop him from getting those buffs, which makes the fight a whole lot easier. Next up we have the special attacks. SP1, right, it gets the passive accelerating mutation for 15 seconds, and it lets you place 2 debuffs down instead of 1. It also refreshes the evolved mutation passive from the SP3, which is important when you're doing that rotation to try to keep everything maintained and locked together. For almost every fight, you want to start with an SP1 though. It's kind of like no matter what rotation you do, you want to use it. It's also the special attack to use when you're trying to specifically reverse healing. If you stack 4 specters, get your exacerbate debuff potency up, get the 4 specters on them, and then start spamming SP1s, because you can get to like the petrify stack, you can get 2 petrifies. You can probably even get 3. Just looking at the durations, 20 seconds. It's a solid time. You will absolutely melt anyone who is healing. I think Anti-Venom is probably one of the best champs in the game for reversing healing. So he's fantastic for that. You just want to spam SP1s and Spectre if that's what you're targeting. Next up, we got the SP2. This is the big damage special, right? This is how you get all your Furies. You're going to get a Fury for each Disorient or Decelerate or Spectre on the opponent, and it'll consume all but the 2 most recent ones. And the way you want to launch this special attack, because it is important when you kind of do it, if you don't care when, or if you don't care which debuff is getting placed on the opponent, launch the special 2 right before you get to 30, or right before you get to 40 hits. So launch it at 38 or 39, and then when you actually launch it and get those 2 hits in, you will get pushed up to 40 or right above 40, and that will immediately put another debuff on your opponent. If you do care which debuff gets placed, then go ahead and launch it after you hit the 40 combo meter mark, and that way you'll have plenty of time to select which debuff you actually want to put on the opponent. But that is up to you and your matchup and exactly what you are doing in your fight. Last up, we got the SP3. This is the long form content special, right? This is what you use in those multi-million health fights. Gives you the evolved mutation passive, which extends Fury duration and potency and allows you to stack double the amount of genetic memory debuffs. The way that this works is you can get 8 Furies instead of your typical 4, and because they have the extended duration and with the striker pause, and you also you refresh this passive with the special 1, so you can constantly keep putting 8 debuffs on the opponent. You can get easily 16 Furies, which is crazy. When you get 4 in a normal fight, you're like, wow, it's a lot of damage. Imagine 16. You can even get upwards of 20 to maybe even like 22, 24. At the most I've gotten is 22 when testing him for these longer fights. So you get a ridiculous amount of Furies doing this rotation. You get a ridiculous amount of damage from the SP1s in this rotation. Each hit is doing like 80,000 damage in red numbers. So it's so good for that. I'm going to show you guys now some of the rotations and gameplay for utilizing this rotation, the SP3, and then also kind of your typical Battlegrounds, Winter Soldier, 1 minute or less fight. Okay, we're going to hop into Winter Soldier here. Just your classic Realm of Legends fight. This is about 500 to 550,000 health, so it's about a Battlegrounds matchup. and maybe like a pretty juicy war fight, mini boss fight sort of thing. And we're going to do the shortened rotation, or the battlegrounds, kind of like medium fight rotation. And that's launching your SP1 right before you get to 20 hits, so you get double debuffs there. And I don't care which debuffs we place, so I'm just doing medium combo enders. Going to save the striker for after the SP2. And I'm also going to launch it at 39 to get, oh, this is going to, yep, nice. If that second hit was a crit, the fight might have just ended right there. And the fight's going to be over anyways right now. Yeah, so super easy, super simple, absolutely melted. Fantastic for these for these short fights. Let's see how much time that was. 56 seconds, less than a minute. Perfect. And you can probably even go a little bit faster too, especially if that second SP2 hit crits. It's over. On to the next one. Okay, I'm going to take you guys through a little labyrinth fight here against Star-Lord. This is going to be 3.3 million health. Obviously, quite a large health pool even to today's standards. The rotation I'll show you is the one for long form content that I think Anti-Venom is super underrated for. Again, I just think this guy is pretty much good for everything. We're going to go ahead and get some decelerates up so that we don't have to most likely not deal with any evade shenanigans. The Realm of Legends, the Labyrinth of Legends evade, it's still kind of funky. I feel like sometimes you try to avoid it, or you put up an ability that prevents evade and it still just sometimes triggers. Not sure what that's about, but I just feel like that happens. We're going to rush to our SP3 here though. And then, come on, throw this dude. Throw your special, please. We're going to block his special, and then we'll be right at an SP3. Yep. And then I think because of we're right below that 40 threshold, this is going to push us up to, right above, and we were able to put maximum decelerates on him again, which is really nice. Love if you threw this. Thank you. Got some nice power from that. Let's put a decelerate or a disorient on him. And in here, we're going to throw the SP1 to get, obviously, double debuffs, but also because our SP3 timer was about to run out, and that's something you have to manage for these long-form fights, is you always want to keep that timer going. Throwing the striker extends that timer. I should have thrown the SP2 before the hit counter there, but that's fine. Going to throw the striker now to extend all my timers and extend Fury duration there. Block that. Ooh, I almost got pushed to SP2. I actually didn't want that to happen. Here we're seeing some big numbers, big red numbers. Okay, I'm going to put... Okay, there you go. I really wanted him to throw that. Got 14 Furies here. Really, the damage cap is really preventing a lot of the magic that we would be seeing from this, but that's okay. Gonna throw another SP2 here. 20 Furies. Very nice. Again, if there was no damage cap, we're hitting damage cap so easily. If I can rush to an SP1, I lost the SP3 timer, but I think it's fine because the fight is about to be over. Yeah, this is a ridiculous amount of damage. So obviously that SP1 with those ramped up Furies did 250,000 health, and I think that's obviously amazing. We were also just hitting damage cap with basic attacks, right? So if there was no damage cap, we'd be just absolutely going crazy with the damage. We still were going crazy with the damage. So he is really good for these long form fights. He's really good for battlegrounds. In my opinion, he's amazing for war. I've seen lots and lots of success with him in war right now. So I think he's just fantastic. He's my favorite champ right now. And hopefully after this video, he is one of yours too. Or at the very least, you're thinking about him for your next rank up. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.